Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
And we are following three major stories at this hour. First, it is a done deal. Michigan's members of the Electoral College make it official and finalize our state's 16 electoral votes for Joe Biden as one Michigan rep leaves his party over the whole mess.
The cloud of suspicion has been lifted. After years of investigations, the federal government reaches a settlement with UAW. And there's one very important thing the rank and file now has to do to help bring an era of corruption to an end.
But we'll begin here at 5 with the moment we've waited 10 long months to see. The first doses of the coronavirus vaccine have been administered here in Michigan.
While the first shots went into arms here in Michigan, today the first American to get the authorized vaccine got it this morning in New York.
Sandra Lindsay is an ICU nurse on Long Island. She received that honor, and now the race is on to get the rest of the country vaccinated. Dr. Frank McGeorge has been fielding your questions on the vaccine. There are plenty of those. We'll get to those in just a moment. We're going to start with Sean Lay live in Ann Arbor, where some of the first shots in Michigan were administered. Sean.
Historic moment right here just moments ago, guys. You're right. The very first vaccine shots coming right here. The president of the entire health system said when the vaccines were delivered about 8:45 this morning by UPS, he called it a box of hope. We'll show you that box. And listen, here's the first person to get that very first dose.
I was actually the first person here at the university to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
About 1 hour ago, U of M flight nurse Johnny Peoples became the first frontline worker at Michigan Medicine to get a dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. He was asked if he wanted to get the vaccine. He did not hesitate to say yes.
It wasn't painful at all. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple.
The very first doses from Pfizer came rolling into Michigan Medicine at U of M Hospital this morning.
Here we go. The first tray.
And by this afternoon,
I got my vaccine about 7 minutes ago.
1, 2, 3.
infectious disease Dr. Paya Patel got her first dose.
It's wonderful news. I think that, it's been hard for everyone, patients, healthcare workers, the community. So we got to stay strong for this final push.
U of M Health System President Dr. David Spollinger says he got a welcome text this morning that the vaccines were arriving.
I got a text this morning at 6 a.m. that it's going to arrive at 8:45. So,
what did you think when you looked at that text?
I thought, this is great. I'm excited. It was a package of hope. It was a package of hope that we're going to end this and that we're going to save lives.
Big picture here as these first few doses are administered, few today, more tomorrow, up to 400 to 500 starting on Monday. Dr. Patel, the infectious disease doctor upstairs, seeing the COVID patients, saying COVID patients continue to come in waves, many still suffering badly from this disease. And she says 2 doses necessary, 1 today, 1 in about 3 weeks. But she says the vaccine won't take hold to mask up, keep distance, even after the vaccine takes hold. So interesting perspective about the vaccine and how long it may take to kind of get inside your body there. Guys, back to you.
So right. All right, Sean. Now, a lot of people still understandably have a ton of questions about the vaccine.
Yeah, they sure do. And viewers have been submitting their questions through clickondetroit.com to our Dr. Frank McGeorge. And Doc joins us now live to answer some of the ones he's seeing and hearing most often tonight. Doc?
Yeah, Kim and Devin. So the number one question that I'm getting today by far is how will I know when it's my turn to get the vaccine? And specifically, it's seniors who don't live in nursing homes who are asking that question. The short answer is the state health department and the governor will announce when we can move into the next phases of vaccination and which groups that will include. At that point, we will have more details on where you should go.
Right now, the first shots are designated for frontline healthcare workers and nursing home staff and residents. Once those groups are nearing completion, expect to hear more details about when and where the next groups can get vaccinated. The Pfizer shot in particular is not one that your doctor's office would be able to store, so you'll likely need to go to a major pharmacy to get the shot. Some counties are also planning drive-through events when the time comes. Now, another very common question, how long does it take for the COVID-19 vaccine to be effective once you get it? The clinical trial found you won't have full protection until about a week after the second dose. Participants did have some protection about 10 days after the first dose, but it maxed out at 52% efficacy. The second dose boosted the efficacy to 95%, so it's definitely required. Now, several people have asked, if I get the first dose of one vaccine, do I need a second dose of the same vaccine? The answer is yes. Even if multiple vaccines are ultimately authorized, both doses need to be from the same vaccine. Now, a number of seniors have also wondered, is it safe to get my shingles vaccine at the same time or close to the time that I get the COVID vaccine? I would not recommend getting any other vaccines along with the COVID vaccine, since that vaccine alone can cause some side effects. If your group is called up to get the COVID vaccine, it's probably best to delay the shingles vaccine just a bit. And I'll be answering more questions ahead, including, if I get the vaccine, why do I still need to wear a mask? If you have a question about the virus or the vaccine, you can submit it on the homepage at clickondetroit.com. Back to you.
All right, Frank, and our coverage of the vaccine rollout will continue over this 90 minutes of news.
In just a few minutes at 5:15, Help Me Hank has some important information and a warning about vaccine scams. Then at 5:30, a look at Michigan's historic role in helping get the vaccine out to the masses. Then at 6 o'clock, we go to the hospital VA, the local VA hospital, I should say, expecting to get its hands on some of the very first doses.
Now to today's coronavirus numbers. The state reporting 7,205 new cases of COVID-19 over the past 48 hours. That two-day total averages out to 3,600 new cases a day. Along with that, 90 more Michiganders have lost their lives to the virus.
All right, well, after months of partisan challenges and political infighting, it's official.
State of Michigan and its 16 electoral votes have gone to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Sergeant Oslevar Barnes, has the tally been completed?
Yes, Lieutenant Governor. The electors have unanimously cast 16 votes for Joseph R. Biden.
But there is fallout as U.S. Representative Paul Mitchell from the Thumb area says he's leaving the Republican Party. Mitchell is retiring at the end of this session of Congress. He just told CNN that the House GOP leadership's participation in the outgoing president's conspiracy theories and attempts to disenfranchise millions of American voters to overturn President-elect Joe Biden's victory could cause, quote, long-term harm to our democracy. Rod Maloney is live at the Capitol in Lansing tonight. Rod, police were brought in to escort electors into the building.
Yeah, there were state police everywhere here today, a real heavy show of force. And that was because there were concerns that there might be some kind of violent protest. And in the interim, the legislative offices, the House office building and the Senate office building behind us here, were all closed down today, along with the state capitol closed to the public. But as things stood, it was quiet out here. Yes, it was tense. Some electors asked for and received state police escorts from their vehicles going in and coming out as a precaution.
Nominations are now in order for the office of President of the United States.
Shortly after 2 p.m., the lieutenant governor gavelled the proceedings into order. There was swearing in, oath-taking, the governor putting her stamp on the day's proceedings.
The people have spoken. It was a safe, fair, and secure election. It was the kind of election our founding fathers envisioned when they created this democracy and built this country.
And about 45 minutes later, after handwritten ballots were counted, came the announcement.
The electors have unanimously cast 16 votes for Joseph R. Biden.
But that result did not come without controversy. Earlier in the morning, on the WPHM Morning Show, this exchange with Michigan State Representative Gary Eisen of St. Clair Township.
You assure me that this is going to be a safe day in Lansing? Nobody's going to get hurt? No. All right. I don't know, because what we're doing today is uncharted. It hasn't been done.
Now, in the end, there was a statement put out by the legislative leadership that they took Eisen away from his committee appointments. It's the punishment for making things, saying things like that. You can see the statement in front of you, but essentially what they said, that elected officials need to be held to a higher standard, and so therefore he was being admonished for that. And in the end, Eisen said that he regretted that there was some misconception about what he had said. Back to you, Devin.
Rod, talk about the governor weighing in on the Eisen situation you mentioned.
Yeah, you know, she decried it, saying that it was dangerous, it was a really bad idea, and she was quite upset about this, saying that it really undermines democracy.
All right, Rod. Well, after a federal corruption investigation that has stretched on for years, the government has now reached a tentative settlement with the United Auto Workers.
The deal includes federal oversight for years to come and a critical vote by the rank and file. Let's get to Priya Mann. She's live tonight. Priya, that vote is going to have a major impact on the union.
Yeah, Kimberly, Devin, a lot of changes to come, changes both sides agreed to. This is the settlement agreement right here. You know, when you talk to a lot of rank and file members, you hear the word solidarity a lot. Well, today was a show of solidarity between the U.S. government and an embattled union looking to move forward.
This is for our members. Today is about them. Today is about justice for their very hard-earned dues money.
After years of investigations that led to more than a dozen high-ranking officials convicted of fraud and corruption, the UAW and the feds have reached a settlement, which includes a court-appointed monitor for the next 6 years.
So the whole point about this is returning the union to the men and women of the union.
We are committed to making the monitor's job a very boring one by making sure through our self-governance that there are no financial or ethical misconduct issues to monitor.
Rank and file members will also get a say in how union membership is decided moving forward. The independent monitor will oversee a secret ballot referendum. Members will decide whether to keep a delegate system that's been in place for decades or change to a one-person, one-vote direct election.
The issue of whether or not to have the direct elections, that's up to the workers. That's their decision. That's not our decision.
The feds didn't issue fines or penalties against the union, saying it would take away from members. But the UAW did repay $15 million to its training centers and $1.5 million to the IRS. UAW President Rory Gamble says while a dark chapter is now closed, he's still disappointed by officials who stole from union members.
I feel betrayed by a lot of these people. I'm hurt, I'm let down. Basically, they don't exist anymore. We're moving forward. So to you, my brother, I say thank you. And to all my UAW brothers and sisters across this country, I say God bless you all. Your union is here to stay.
Now, there was a lot to cover today, but it's important to note that the feds defended UAW President Rory Gamble, saying he was never a target of their investigation and that they wouldn't have worked with him if he had been, and they will not be involved in the collective bargaining process. And on that note, we do have some sad news to pass along. Art Schwartz, a negotiator for GM, he passed away over the weekend. He was instrumental in the 2009 bargaining process. In fact, our Rod Maloney worked with him for years, saying Art was a great guy and will be sorely missed. He had infinite wisdom and a great sense of humor. Art passed away over the weekend from COVID-19. Reporting live from downtown Detroit, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya. We've got much more to come on what has been a very busy Monday. Let's check in with Ben.
Devin and Kim, we've got temperatures moving upward just like last week. Coldest part happens first. We'll see how warm things get and whether or not we'll have to hang around with any of this snow coming up.
Well, certainly Michigan and Detroit, known as the arsenal of democracy right now, it is being called by many the arsenal of health because of this COVID-19 vaccine, something all Michiganders can be proud of. We're going to take a look coming up.
Scammers looking to take advantage of you as the COVID-19 vaccine starts to roll out across the country. We know what they are doing and how they're trying to get your money. I'll have it for you coming up tonight in a Help Me Hank Scam Alert.